We're in a bit of a pickle. Madness. Well, good morning and welcome to day 2. We knew when we looked at the conditions that it was going to be tough conditions because bright sunshine, 20 degrees and very little wind is never good no matter where you are in the world for perch fishing. And yesterday, in our minds, we were thinking if we could nick a couple of bites, that'd be great. We did have a couple of bites. One was a 210, which was kind of unlucky because, you know, you could be forgiven for thinking that they are born bigger than £2.10 out here. And then the other one, while we was dealing with that fish, was a missed bite because we just basically, it was a missed bite because we were dealing with a fish, which was unlucky. But today we decided on another spot, and like I said, the plan is basically to try and fish a different big lake every day and split each day into 2. So we're going to fish this bay in the morning today, and then we're going to stay in this area on these massive lakes, and possibly, if we don't get any bites this morning, move to a different zone. The water seems really low and very, very clear, as well as the sort of light conditions that we've got to deal with. So I have the impression, and whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, because my experience over here is very small. I think light levels are going to be massively important, but I also think, because these fish are getting pushed around by angling pressure a lot, that we need to be quite lucky that we have a shoal of fish pass us by. Because I think with the expanse of water that we've got to play with, I think we're really sort of needle in a haystack to think that you're going to drop on them. We've got a massive advantage, of course, because we've got Tim's knowledge of where he's caught fish from in the past. But right now, I've got a bait stop stuck in my gum somewhere, as always. Right now, I'm trying to get all 3 rods spaced out in this lovely bay for the first hour of light, because I think, what is it? It's 6 o'clock. I think that first hour into light and that last hour of light are going to be our best chances. So these rods need to go out ASAP and hope that there's something in the slightly shallower water, because these lakes tend to be super deep in the middle, and you're not really fishing for them in them deep water. You're looking sort of like 3 to 5 meters tops, which a lot of these swims are only about 15 yards out. Hello. But anyway, that's the plan today. The plan today, different zone, different lake, but a similar sort of method. Well, exactly the same method, but yeah, if we do only get 2 bites, try to convert them both. Well, bite time this morning has come and gone, and unfortunately nothing happened. Albeit, I will say, I'm absolutely sure just as the sun was coming up, I saw a perch, or certainly a predator, chase some small fish into the margins. I saw a big bow wave. I hurried along down the bank to try and see what it was. I saw some fish scatter, and then I think I saw a lone perch chasing them. So that bodes well, because at least we feel like there's fish in the area. Tim's a little bit late today because he had sexy time with the wife this morning. But today, don't even look at me like you ain't. But today, he's actually getting the rods out, because it is difficult. And we are here to make a fishing film, and 6 rods are definitely better in this instance on venues this big than 3. So Tim, this is a different lake, and to all intents and purposes, you do, when you're not on a boat with live side scan and live scope, feel like you are sort of almost pinning yourself to a certain area. What are you looking for in these areas? Like, why is this bay better than other areas? Features and stuff like that.
You saw this morning, I put the deeper out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm using to cover the bottom.
Yep.
Looking for features, for tunnels, for plateaus and stuff like that.
And do you think the fish live there, or do you think it's like a highway for them when they're patrolling?
Both. They
Yeah.
live there, but also they're patrolling.
Yeah.
And just this is a very big gravel pit.
Yep.
It's 3 small lakes before it connects the river.
They're not even small. They're not, Tim. They're not small.
No,
but
no,
they're small
sorry,
for
it's
you.
not small. Yeah, but it's like 3 gravel pits, different ones, and this is a bay where a lot of structure is on the bottom.
Yeah.
And in the past, I had a lot of fish here.
Yeah.
But this year's a little bit difficult. They're not really in groups on the same spot all year, but they are patrolling around, and that's why we are in this spot. And I know from last week a friend of mine had a couple here.
Yeah. So I mean, I've seen on the deeper, and just from leading around, you know, you can chuck it out 30 yards and it goes down with a 2-second drop, and then a rod length to the left, you got a 4-second drop. So it is up and down like a yo-yo, this bit, which is definitely good for features. In regard to that sort of topography, are you fishing top of the feature? Are you fishing on the slopes, or are you looking to fish at the bottom of the features?
I like both,
Okay.
but you fish from the bank and not from the boat. So some drop-offs are really angry with mussels and stuff like that will cut your main line, so you can't fish it then. So I like to fish on top of it then. Yeah. So it's different, but some days they're in the hole, and some days they're on the drop off on the top of it. So
with what you've just said in mind, that's how I position my rods.
Yeah.
I've got 3 rods, 3 different spots, 3, most importantly to me, different depths.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Unless you are sort of live scoping them and side scanning them and actually seeing them in a particular depth all day long, you've just got to play the odds, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. But on all the places in Holland you fish for perch, it is from 1 meter to 5, 6, and that's it.
Yeah, tops.
The deeper drops offs is not doing the really big perch.
Right.
So yeah, I think 1 meter up to 5 meters is shallow, because in the middle here it's 22 meters.
Yeah, I chucked a lead out at the end of yesterday. I chucked a lead out long, and I felt for a drop, and I actually got bored waiting for it, so I wound in.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to wait 1 minute before it's bottom.
Yeah. Look, we touched on the conditions. We've got high pressure. There isn't a cloud in the sky. It's bright sunshine. The water is the clearest water I've seen since I came back from Norway 20 years ago. Like I can see as deep as my eyesight. Do you get bites during the day?
Normally in this conditions are not really. I like the sun.
Yeah.
But just for now a day, you know, overcast all day,
Patchy.
sun comes out, then it's most of the time bite times. But the last couple of days, the sun is shining from the morning up to the end of the day, and heavily. That was really hard conditions. You saw it yesterday. We are in the middle in the morning.
Yeah, it was 11 o'clock.
It was 11 o'clock. We are at fish, and I think we don't gonna hit a big shoal. We have to wait that a few fish comes in the swim and picks a worm, hopefully.
That's what's done my head in. Because yesterday, first light, this morning, first light, and yesterday evening into dusk, we had no action. No. Yet at 11, 11:30, we had 2 bites out of the blue.
Yeah.
Now, in the UK, I would almost bet my bottom dollar that it would be the first 2 hours either side of first light and the last 2 hours either side of last light. And then in the middle, you could go for a nice pub lunch and just enjoy the scenery. But it's not the case here, because they can literally, I mean, the odds are lower, but they can turn up and have a mouthful at any point. Yeah,
but I'll give you 2 years ago, we had a very good summer with a lot of small prey fish. And even in the winter, the prey fish was everywhere. Every morning, dus no matter on what lake you come, was on the morning, just on 1 meter, was small asp, some ides, some small roach and perches. And you saw in the morning that the perch were hitting them.
Yeah.
This year, there's no prey fish. Yeah, there is prey fish, but not so many. So they are in the depth. Yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons why the morning is not so good. Yeah. This start of this year then. So you have to play a little bit. Not every year is the same.
Yeah. Hello.
And that makes it interesting. Yeah, but for this year, we are waiting for a feeding spell.
Yeah. I saw a predator, and I'm convinced. I saw a predator, and I'm almost certain it was a perch, this morning up on the shallows, literally where my left-hand rod is. So we'll see.
We will see.
The plan, I mean, I said earlier on when I was setting up, the plan today would be to split the day in half. Would you say it was worth moving, or with the experience you've got in this area, sit it out? It's one of those ones where you can flick a coin, isn't it?
Yeah, it's flicking a coin, mate. If you move, then 1 hour later, a shoal comes in your swim.
I've done it.
And you're gone.
I've done it on the Riveroos too many times. Moved from the swim because I hadn't had a bite. Someone got in there an hour later and had a 4-pounder, and it's heartbreaking. So.
And Dean, you saw a lot of anglers, and they're all blanking, mate. They're all blank. I only saw one boat where I had a fish, and the question is, it wasn't.
To be fair, there's a boat over there. I saw him. I was looking through my phone. I didn't bring my binoculars, but my phone's got quite a good zoom.
Yeah.
And he had what I'm convinced was a perch, and at that range looked like a significant fish. Do you know what I mean? So that gives you hope as well. And that wasn't first light, that was well into light. So
the plan, I think, if it's not working, we go just to the top of that. It's narrow up from the next lake.
Yeah, bottleneck, yeah.
Yeah, that's also a good place, so we can give it a go there later today. If not, then we're gonna move tomorrow to a really small area where I definitely know we're on the fish.
Right.
There's definitely fish there. The question is, they are feeding,
yeah,
or maybe spawning. That's the question. But we are definitely close by the fish there. Well, that's a really small lake. It's like a tunnel with not many features on. And
am I right in saying tomorrow we're supposed to have a little bit of cloud cover as well?
Yeah, the temperatures, it's dropping back to 10 degrees tomorrow, and not all day sun, so that's much better.
Yeah.
So.
Well.
But we have a good day left.
Fingers crossed. Mate. Yeah, we ain't halfway yet. We're not halfway.
Fish the worm that off the bottom, you will have harder strikes.
Well, folks, update number 3. And we are in the same situation. However, one slight thing has changed. The wind's picked up, the wind is extremely cold, and there's a shadow right over the top of my swim. So not only am I blanking, but I'm freezing cold right now as well. I think we just need a bit of cloud cover, mate. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's tomorrow coming.
Yeah. And I will say this. Yesterday we had a bite at 11 o'clock. We had 2 bites between 11 and half 11, and pretty much 11 o'clock today, I did have a weird sort of tiny, I mean, I'm not convinced it was a perch bite. You reckon it's a really,
definitely one.
You reckon it's a really tentative sort of clear water, bright sunshine, end of season, because let's face it, end of season, they have had a bit of a thumping all winter, haven't they? You've got the Dutch, you've got the English, you've got the Germans, you've got everyone all over Europe that love their predator fishing.
That's the wind.
Yeah, it's a bit of wind and a bit of weed. But they're here from October right the way through till mid-March.
Up to spawning, and normally mid-March, end of March.
Yeah, and do you find that they do get more spooky right the way through the season?
Yeah, definitely when it warms up and it's all lures, worms, baits all day. They go really, really sneaky.
Yeah. And patience is the key then, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But we also had a liner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, middle rod.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whatever that was, I have no clue. Just the tip went out of the blue. So
that was definitely a liner.
Yeah, that was 100% something.
So, finger crossed. Give it another few hours, and then.
Like I said, as much as we had 2 genuine bites yesterday and a fish in a short space of time, there does seem to be slightly more sort of you know, you see the odd roach top and the odd bream, all right, a little bit further out than what we're fishing, but you know, there just seems to be a little bit more life in this bay than there was yesterday. So hopefully that bodes well.
On a rod. Get flying. That's on. That's on.
Yeah, that's on. In?
Oh yes. I'm shaking now, mate.
Yeah,
I'm
damn right,
shaking.
well.
After 2 missed bites.
It ain't even my rod and I'm shaking too. Wow, man, right in the middle of the day. Like it's 1:15, what the hell? Well, don't go too much because I'll get booty if I go over the
Feels
ankle.
really heavy.
Good.
Maybe it's in the snack there somewhere.
Right, no, she's out.
Not sure.
Come on. Come on, let's just see a big old Z. Yeah, sorry, striper. Striper. Big old perch, yeah.
Oh.
What? Oh, it's got some
Don't-
depth to it. Right, step back, step back. Tim, step back.
Yeah,
You've got
yeah.
to be behind me.
I'd like
I
to see
can't
what it is. It is a perch.
Yeah, it's a
oh
perch, yeah,
yes,
it's a
that
perch,
is
yeah.
a nice one. Oh,
Come on,
oh.
come on, in you go.
Oh yes.
Put it there.
Oh.
Well done, man. Well done.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
After 2 missed bites, mate, proper bites.
Solid fish, that.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Get her out then, Tim. £3.6, folks. So a modest fish for Holland, but look at that. When it's hard, and you can't beat a bit of local knowledge to get a bite when you really need it. And that's one of the reasons why he said to me today, he goes, "Shall I bring my rods?" I was like, hell yeah. Mate, you did something different though, didn't you?
Yeah.
'Cause I've been critically balancing my baits, and you actually popped them up. Do you think that made a big difference?
My experience in the past are it works really well in this time of year.
Yeah.
So, and it's confidence thing, you know. So it was a slow morning, so you have to try something. And
Yeah.
I had 2 very good bites what I missed, and then the third bite is this nice fish.
Beautiful.
So it works, yeah. So Dean, if I was you, I will try pop-up worm, just 10 centimeters from
Tim.
the bottom.
I've got it on 2 rods already, mate.
Yeah. Okay.
The minute I saw what you had it on, I came back round in my right and my middle rod, and they've gone on like 3-inch popped up lobworms. So don't worry, I'm not slowing coming forward, dude. Stunning. Right, let's get her back, and then hopefully, I mean, look, I said it when you was playing it. We're 20 to 2 in the afternoon. If you can get a bite at 20 to 2 in the afternoon, surely at the witching hour at dusk, we've got a decent chance.
Oh yes, definitely, mate.
And by the looks of it, any time between now and then.
Oh yes.
Right, Mr. Janssen, talk us through the rig, because mechanically it's everything you need for perch. Free running,
Yeah, absolutely.
bit of a boom,
Bit of boom.
quite a large boom actually, but you've got quite a long hook link as well.
Yeah, like I'm fishing around 18 to 24 inches.
Yeah, something like that. So we've got the mini run ring kit,
Yeah,
right? 2-foot hook link, there or thereabouts.
yeah.
This is the business end that really like intrigues me, to be fair, because as much as I've done a lot of this fishing before in my time, I've not really done a lot with popped up worms. And as soon as you change over to pop up worms, you've got 2 bites, well, 3 bites and 1 fish earlier
Yeah.
on. Why pop them up?
I think they can see the worm from 5-6 meters,
Yeah.
and he's lively, you know. So he's playing. That attracts the fish, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And what I really like, if when they are sneaky, and
Yeah.
they are sneaky, that worm is on the direction of his eyes,
Yeah.
and you watch it, and then when he nibbles it and he takes it, that hook will fall in his lip, in the
Right.
bottom lip, because that lead is a little bit heavy.
Right.
So that stops deep hooking.
Yeah. So what you're doing, you're regulating how deep the fish can take the bait.
Yeah.
Because the one thing with longer hook links and perch, with especially free running rigs, is that they can easily swallow it quite a long way back. Yeah.
And I think that fish what I had was just maybe 15 centimeters from bottom.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Popped up. Oh, right.
Yeah,
So it popped up a fair decent size. Like height off the bottom.
Was maybe 15 centimeters.
Right. Okay.
And don't forget, there's a lot of anglers here, and I'm sure nobody does this. So it's
hook. What hook are you using? Because it's not anywhere near as big a hook as I would have thought you would have used with a big knobworm.
This is a size 8.
Yeah.
All rounder.
Okay. Yeah. Good hook.
Yeah. Very
Whenever
good.
you're hair rigging for specimen fish, and all rounders hard to beat, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And then I like to quick stop.
Yeah.
Just to make fishing much easier. You know, you put a worm on, make the hair a little bit longer.
Right.
Because you can put a little bit more of the hair into the worm.
Yeah. What breaking strain's your hook link?
This is 22.
022.
022, yeah.
What's that going to be? £8 poundish, I guess. 6-8 pound.
Yeah, 6-8 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's fluorocarbon.
Right.
That's what I really like.
Cool.
Because we're fishing on mussels, and in my experience, fluorocarbon is a little bit stronger.
Yeah, it's a little bit more robust, isn't it?
Yeah,
than mono.
definitely.
I mean, it's only 1.5 ounces, but bearing in mind we're only fishing, 20 yards out, it's still quite a heavy lead.
Yeah. Make casting easier. And what I don't really like, if the fish is really sneaky, the run rig have to work, you know.
Yeah.
So 1.5 with a day like this, and when it's more windy, then I go up.
Yeah, because it's important that when the fish takes it, it doesn't always take the bait directly away from you. It often goes left and right. But
yeah, definitely.
It's the bobbin that moves and not the lead.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sound. Nice.
Easy.
It's so simple, isn't it? But it's location and timing, a lot of it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the main thing, mate.
Yeah.
That's absolutely the main thing.
Nice one. Right,
So,
get it back out there then, son.
Yeah, you're going to try it on it.
Cut off. Where's the line? Where's the line? Right. Well, folks, we're in a bit of a pickle because I just lifted into a bite and I got cut off on the strike, and I've just literally run into the water, and so I've seen me line and I've just run into the water to get it. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's a massive perch. Oh, it's a massive perch. Oh, it's massive, man, and I ain't even got me rod. Oh my god! Oh, it's not as big as I thought, but right. So I just had to I lifted into it, and I've made these bobbins up before I come here, and I've just got cut off on the bobbin. Literally lifted into it, and the bobbin's just gone. And you ain't gonna believe it. So I'm soaked. So I've just run into the water. I was literally looking. I was looking for it on the water surface to see if I could see my line, and I couldn't see it. And then all of a sudden I saw something just like curling, and I knew it was my line going into the water. So I've just literally legged it out into the lake, and I've literally just caught a monster perch. What's your luck, man? Do you know what the funny thing is? That is the only rod that I've actually been feeding over all day. That's a massive perch, man. That's £4 all day long. Look at the size of that thing. Holy shit. Oh, I'm soaked. I'm soaked, man. Holy sh. Gotta stop swearing, but that was incredible. That was incredible. I don't know if Ty got it because he was like, what happened? None of us could work it out, but balls, we come to Holland for a big perch. Ladies and gents, Tim's just gone home because, well, I don't know what to say. We come to Holland for a big perch. Before the sun goes down, let's get this sorted, man. That's I don't know what to say.
Just stop swearing.
That's incredible, man. That's a big perch, Ty. That's £4 all day long. Tim. You're going home for sexy time, but I'm having my sexy time here, buddy. Look at that. It's a monster. And do you know what do you know what the best thing is? I actually flicked a rod over on your spot, but it wasn't on that spot. It wasn't. It was the rod that I was just flicking bait over the top of all day, mate. And you know we had the odd sign.
Yeah.
Dude, it was an incredible take, but I got cut off as I struck into it. Right, so I threw the rod behind me and I was scanning the water to see if I could find the line. And out of the blue, I just saw the line about 2 rod lengths out, and I just run into the water, grabbed the line, and actually hand lined it in. It was
Unbelievable.
Mate, do you want to know how big it is? I've weighed it.
Yeah. Tell me.
Mate, you called it earlier. You said I'd catch a 5-1, and I've just caught a 5-1. Yeah, it's a 5. Dude, it's a 5-pounder. I can't believe it. It's been so hard, but this is it, man. This is like, you don't mind fishing in bad conditions when the rewards can be this, man. Look at that. I know you've seen.
Oh yeah, well done, mate. I'm very, very happy for you, mate.
Oh, mate, thank you so much for all your help. I'll see you tomorrow, though, yeah, because there's bigger.
Yeah, I come in the morning with the Japanese food, believe me.
Japanese tomorrow, baby.
Yeah, well done, mate. I'm very, very happy for you. Big green, big chop, and a big perch now.
Yeah, it's been a
Make your things, mate.
it's been
very
good. It's been a good week. It's been a very good week. Right, I'm going to go because I'm going to get some pictures. Cheers, buddy. You're a star.
Yeah. Send me a picture, please, so I can watch it all night.
All right, a nude one. Right, see you soon.
Thank you.
See you, mate. Bye. Folks, I genuinely am lost for words. I had an incredible week last week for my personal fishing, and then you know that things like this are potentially going to happen, but that is an absolutely incredible perch of 5 pounds 1 ounce. The 2 previous perch that we've caught, I was a bit worried that they were spawned out, and with the weather you have to sort of consider it, but it's very, very early. Tim was saying it's normally late March, so first week in March you should be okay, and this thing is in impeccable condition. I mean, look at that. Look his fin up. Like they are absolute. Look at that. It's as wide as my whole hand. They are absolute tanks. Like 5 pound 1 ounces. I've been here twice before and I've never seen a 5, let alone caught one. And Tim said, he said, come over and do it a bit different. He said, it won't be as prolific, but you know, you tend to fish a bit closer in and they're a bit craftier, but the worm sorts them out. And bloody hell, we was right. Right, I'm going to get it back. This is a marvellous creature. It's that time of year when you have to look after them. But I apologise so much for all of my swearing, but that entire situation was just out of control, man. It was out of control. How did you catch your first 5 pounder? Oh, yeah. I dragged it in with my hands. Wow. Wow. I'm sure you've all been here before, but I kind of don't want to let it go because I know there's plenty of fish in this river system and these lake systems that are this big. But I personally may never see a fish of that magnitude again. What an incredible story that will make. Nothing's ever simple, is it? You come over. There was jet skis earlier on. Oh man, that literally looks like a football with a spiky fin. There was jet skis out earlier on. That's how warm and muggy and sunny it's been, but that is just the most perfect ending to a very difficult day in the most weirdest situation and circumstance. Oh, I'm going home. I'm going to have beef burgers and some pasta. We're out again tomorrow, but before all of that, I'm going to empty my boots because I have filled them up to the top. Madness, madness. Madness. I'm just about to undo my boots. I've literally, like 2 seconds ago, just put the 5-1 back. And I can't tell you how big this one feels because I didn't have the last one on rod and line. But it's the same spot. I was feeding it all day. I was just cutting up lobworms, the ones that I was winding in and taking off the hook. I was just literally pumping them out there because it's got a real deep drop off just there, and this is sort of the only rod really that's within catapult range. And wow, how it's come good. How it's come good in the end. Oh, that might not be a bad fish. Right, it's a perch. It's actually a perch film now, isn't it? Oh, this is. Come on, sweetheart. Over you come. Number 2 of the day, number 3 of the shoot. And I swear on my life, I was going to wind these rods in because after that last fish, I was absolutely satisfied. But it's still a good fish, but it ain't like the last one. Well, folks, I was right. It isn't quite as big as the last one. Most of them probably aren't going to be. But it's still 4.7 pounds. And I suppose when you've just literally 1 second put a 5 pound 1 ouncer back, then something that's 4.7 pounds doesn't quite look as big. But on inspection, that is a very, very big perch. I mean, it's an old battler. The other one looked like it was born at 5 pound. It was absolutely mint. This one's seen a few winters, hasn't it? Look at that. But oh my days, like, I can't tell you. You don't see the grind, and I know you know about it because you're anglers yourselves, but you don't see the grind of sitting here through like literally 20 degrees and cloudless skies. And you know, there's a bit of budget goes on these continental shoots, and you know, we really do have to produce. And I know a lot of it's down to luck, and I feel very, very lucky now, but oh my God, this is what we come for. If we don't get another bite, then if you said to me before we come, we'd have a 210, a 5.1, and what was this tie? 4.7? Yep. And 4.7 over the course of the 3 days, I take that, but we've still got a day to go. We've still got a day to go, and we might be back here tomorrow evening. Look at that. An absolute bruiser and my 3rd biggest perch ever. And it's been the worst day's perch fishing I've ever had in my life, followed by the best half hour, 45 minutes perch fishing I've ever had in my life. What a mad place. What a mad place. All right, see you, baby. Look at that. Go on, back you go. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, man. Yeah, it deserves a fist pump. It deserves a fist pump. And now I'm going to empty my boots. Right. Ain't so warm now, I can tell you that. I might be wearing trainers in the morning.
That's on. Oh yeah.
Hey.
Yes.
Well, good morning from... can't even speak because it's so cold this morning. It's a complete contrast. Good morning from a completely different venue, and one that feels very, very predatory. We've been here a couple of hours, and this is the first bite. And I've got to say, based on yesterday, it doesn't feel like a bad fish either.
Good man.
It could be anything, couldn't it? Like literally, you've said in all of the all the communications we've had beforehand, you said it could be anything from £2 to £6. So every bite is nerve-wracking. This actually feels quite big. Oh, that is quite fat. That is quite fat.
Good man.
That's another perch. I mean, it's another standard perch for Holland, but it's another perch of a lifetime for me. Well, folks, it's a completely different venue, but we've lifted off and picked up where we left off yesterday. What was it? £4.9.
£4.9, yeah.
£4.9 ounces, an old fish, one that's probably gone a lot bigger in the past, but how's that for your luck? A 5.1, a 4.7, and then a 4.9 on the bounce.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, man.
Very old warrior, and I think it's your longest fish so far. It's a very long old fish.
It really didn't look that big in the net, and then we stuck it on the mat, and it just simply grew.
Yeah, nice, mate.
They're just different gravy out here, aren't they? They're massive, man.
And how many stripies have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice stripey.
Excellent, man.
Good man.
Absolutely awesome. And the thing is, they're nearly twice this size. I mean, I know that mathematically doesn't work, but you know, they're not far off £8 out here at the right time of year, the very, very biggest ones. What's the biggest one you've heard of?
The 712.
712, yeah, not far off £8. Holy moly. Well, folks, it's not lost on me on just how lucky I am to travel and do things like this and meet people like Tim that put us on fish like this. But whilst we were dealing with this, the photographs, what an incredible creature. This 200-300 metre long boat has just launched from its mooring right over the top of the spot. So I'm not entirely sure how many more fish we're going to catch from this spot, but I do know where we're going to be heading this afternoon, and that is back to where we had the 5-pounder. Look at that, ready to rock and roll. An old beast. I love a bit of excitement, but I'm getting a bit old. My brain tells me I'm 25 years old, but my body tells me I'm a lot closer to 50 than that. Anyway, is that I think that's an eyed. I think that's a bloody great big eyed. Or is it a chub? That's an eyed. I think that's an eyed. I'll have to have a look. I don't think I've ever caught an eyed before, so if I have, that's a PB. And I think, yeah, that's an eyed. I thought it was a really big perch. How could... I'm actually really over the moon, because I don't think I've ever caught a big eyed. And that's, I don't know if that's a big eyed, but it certainly looks substantial to me. Let's have a look. I think that's a big eyed. I was a little disappointed at the start that it weren't a 4, 5, 6 or even a 7-pound perch, but I'm an angler and I love catching all sorts of species. And I was a little confused when it went in the net, whether it was a chub or an eyed, but I've had a little look-see. I didn't need to ring Tim. It's definitely an eyed, and it's the biggest eyed I've caught by a long way. I haven't weighed it, I wasn't fishing for it, but it's an absolute pleasure to see and to catch. But the boat's gone back now. The flow and the undertow has gone back to normal, so hopefully we get another hour of sport and hopefully one more perch. But if not, a 4.9 and one of these, that's a mega morning's fishing. Look at the depth of it. It's not wide, but look at the depth of it. Well, you'll recognise the backdrop, and this is last chance saloon for us. It's where we caught the 5-1 yesterday. This morning felt very fishy, and clearly we had a couple of fish in quite a short space of time, but we just kept getting wiped out by barges. So we had to make the executive decision, and based on the action yesterday evening here in less than favourable conditions, this is an absolute no-brainer. I'm going to fish it on the same spots as I did yesterday. Tim might be coming down this afternoon to have a go, or just to see us off. I'm not entirely sure, but after yesterday's action, you've got to feel relatively confident with the overcast weather, a bit of ripple on the water, and quite frankly, a little bit of bait that we put in last night and previously when we got here about an hour ago. So whilst I'm putting this rod on the rest, let me talk you through some of the hardware that I've come over here with, because the good thing about perch fishing is you don't actually need specific gear. Any rod from a pound to a £1.5 test curve will be absolutely fine. In this instance, let me turn that off. The wind's pumping in and my bobbins are super, super light. In this instance, I'm using my trilogies. I love them because, oh, that's a bite. That's a bite. We're in. We're in. Right. How's that? We said it felt a little bit better than yesterday. This rod didn't do a bite yesterday, actually, but where I can't actually ping the worms on the spot that did the bite yesterday, this is fished much closer in at the bottom of a shelf. So I decided to feed this rod as well. It's a monster in miniature, but we don't care, because after a really, really tough start, this little perch adventure is starting to come very, very good. Well, that was an incredible start, but it did interrupt our little hardware chat. And like I said, the great thing about perch fishing is as long as you've got rods that can cast a 2-ounce lead 50-60 yards, which is basically anything from a pound to a £1.5 test curve, that matches up with something like the 8-pound feeder line that I'm using here, then that's absolutely fine. And I've chose, because they pretty much do most of my specimen angling, I've chose the trilogies once again to take away with me, because they just seem to be, well, they seem to have everything that I need. I've got the £1 and £1.75 tip in the van, just in case I need to punch a lead a little bit further in big winds, similar to today. But the great thing about today is these spots are 10-15 yards out, right at the bottom of the shelf. Like I said, something like, let's turn this off. Something like 8-pound feeder line seems to be absolutely fine. It's big enough to land most perch, but most importantly, it's strong enough to deal with the punishment of re-chucking to clips, the savage drop-offs that we're fishing over, and then putting the line in and out of these clips copious amounts of times throughout your little perch adventure. I've coupled them up with the Zelos distance reels because they're super light and they cast a long way and they hold an awful lot of line. And when you're coming away, the one thing you don't really want to be doing is spooling up. So the Zelos distance reels just seem to work absolutely fine. When it comes to the actual setup, the one thing that you have to have is long bank sticks, because pointing the rods at the leads is a really big thing in all predator fishing, not just perch fishing. So minimising resistance as much as possible. And as much as I'm fishing my rods on buzz bars at the moment, single bank sticks would be absolutely perfect, because you can put one facing over there, one facing dead straight out, and then one facing to the right hand side. But we're moving around quite a lot to try and drop on different shoals of fish here, and that over the 3 days that we're here, single bank sticks is quite time consuming. So I've literally just gone for the buzz bar style setup, and that works perfectly, really, I think, with the £1.5 tip that I've got in the trilogies, because that tip, 3 to 4 ounces, what it does is minimises the angle, and where it softens it off, I think it actually minimises resistance as well. The more angles you've got from the lead all the way back to your bobbin, the the more resistance starts to build up, okay? So the key thing for predator fishing is try to minimise those angles and minimise the resistance. Bite indication wise, these bobbins or anything like these bobbins, and generally when you see perch anglers or predator anglers on the bank, the bobbins are most of the time modified in some way, shape or form. And by that I mean all of the weight's been taken off and the cord or the chain that they normally come with has been replaced with, here I've just put a 100-pound braid, something that's nice and robust and it's going to last the whole session. But the most important thing is that you have long drop, so plenty of rope to hang themselves. Horrible term, but you know what I mean. And the bobbin weighs as light as humanly possible. And with this 100-pound braid, all I do in situations like this, if I've got quite a big wave or earlier on today where I've got quite a lot of undertow with the barges, is I just pinch on shots. And the fact that I'm pinching on shots means that I can really adjust it quite acutely, and I can have a slightly heavier bobbin that's heavy enough not to be pulled up in the tow or the waves, but most importantly, light enough so that we don't get as many don't get any drop bites. It's quite simple fishing, really. You've just got to be on them. And as much as the waterways over here are huge, having a mate like Tim doesn't half make it a lot easier. Yep, we're in. It's the bait you drawed again. Small one, I think. Don't think it's big. It's banging its head, but it's another fish. Oh, I'll say it's a small one. Gone out into open water. I'm not sure if it's under or over that one. You never know. I mean, Timmy, they're now on the head. It can be a 2-pounder, it can be a 6-pounder. You just never bloody know this time of year on here, or any time of year on here, I guess. It's another little one, but it's a bit bigger than the last was. It actually looks exactly the same as the last. Oh, my net's all over the shop. What's that with my net? There you go. Doesn't matter though. That it just shows you the difference the conditions made. Like, I know it sounded like on the first 2 days we were making excuses, but we've done nothing different today. And just a bit of overcast and a bit of ripple on the water and the fish are feeding. Like, you know, they were probably there all the time. Just sat there like that. Right late. Oh, look at that. What an absolutely marvellous specimen. Well into 3-pound, I would say, and it's my first 3-pounder of the trip. I've had a couple of 2s, a couple of 4s, a 5, and now this one. And they really don't come any better than that. Look at that. That is absolutely perfect. Defiant, and the first one that's held its fin up for us. Yeah, nice one. That's on. Out of the blue. Again, out of the blue. Come on. Come on. Sounds mad, doesn't it? I actually don't care. Maybe it's because I got the monkey off my back last night with the big one, but I actually don't care how big they are, because the bites are super aggressive and they're super cool when they come. And even though it's very fishy at the moment, you kind of don't expect them, because the vast amount of water that's in front of you, you think to yourself, like, why would they be here? I mean, Tim's done an awful lot of the groundwork, let's face it, but The one thing I will say is that the next bite, with the average that we're having here, I mean, we may be on a shoal of smaller fish, but the next bite could be an absolute donkey, because I feel like we've got the 2s and the 3s out the way and we've got the best part of the day to go. It's all about the conditions. The conditions were killing us. We've done nothing different. Just got a bit of cloud cover and a little bit of a ripple on the water, and no jet skis. I think no jet skis helps. I've got a hoodie and 2 coats on underneath this. I'm still freezing my tits off. It was 20 degrees yesterday. Well, we are well and truly into Last Chance Saloon. I have literally just missed an absolute sitter, but today has been so exciting. And we figured that when we come over here at this time of year, if you are lucky with the weather, then days like this can happen. We've had 4 fish today, but I've also missed 4 or 5 bites. But seeing them bobbins on them long drops rise up to the butt of the rod just before you strike is super exciting. But the first 2 days, let's be honest, we got absolutely spanked with the weather. But if you'd have told me before we came out here, we would have caught 2 2s, 2 3s with Tim's and mine, 2 4s and a 5-pounder, I would have bit your arm and shoulder and probably your entire torso and head off for that as well. Because you could be mistaken for thinking that people come out here and catch 5 5s on the bounce all the time. And yes, it does happen, but it is very, very rare. And there's an awful lot of rod hours that go into hits like that. So, yeah, I've got to say thank you to Tim. Without his knowledge, we'd have literally just been needle in a haystack, because there is a vast amount of water here, and I'm sure that there has been at some point fish of over 6 pound in front of us or swim past us. But I've done this a couple of times on boats with lures before, and I've loved it. But I've really enjoyed this, sitting from the bank and fishing these little bays and being super quiet, feeding the margins just on the drop-offs. And you know what? You can do this back home on your commercial fishery for the slightly smaller perch on slightly scaled down gear as well. So yes, we are fishing for monsters out here, but you can use this method in the UK as well. So yeah, it's been a phenomenal adventure. I ticked an ambition that I never thought I'd ever do by catching a 5-pound perch in, let's be honest, pretty extreme circumstances with the crack off. But yeah, it's a long drive home tomorrow morning, but I'll do it with a smile on my face.